Hello, welcome to Lucky Crow. My hair is a mess, I'm not wearing makeup, and also t-shirt under a jacket because I just don't care anymore. Today, I have two stories for you. Stories of peril, stories of bravery, stories of fear. Particularly, the fear of insects. I am ashamed to say it, but I am terrified of bugs. A butterfly could flit past my head, and I would just scream in terror of the unknown. The only insect-like creature that I like are roly-polies. They will never wrong me. But it wasn't always like this. When I was younger, I had a pet praying mantis. How did I develop this phobia? What could have scarred me so bad that I nearly cry when faced with the harmless little would-be? This is a symbol for would-be. It all started one summer when I was like, I don't know, maybe 8. My family rented a cabin on a lake. It was a pretty good time. We played in the water, we roasted marshmallows, we met up with family. It was a real fun time, except for one incident. Everyone was outside, all the adults were talking at a table, and all of us kids, me and my two sisters, were bored. So we decided to play hide and seek around the little cabin. And I was up to hide first. Now I pride myself on my hiding skills. I am a very good hider. I was determined to make sure that my little sister would not be able to find me for, I don't know, at least 5 minutes. The wait would be boring, but the victory would make it all worth it. So she starts counting and I go running around looking for hiding places. The first hiding spot candidate was an area under the porch of the cabin, but I decided that it was too open, too easy to see into. So I went on to hiding spot candidate number 2. Behind the cabin there was like this little dog fence for people who wanted to bring their pets, and there was also like this kennel for them to sleep in. This was a perfect spot for my small 8-year-old self. So I run over to the kennel and I peek inside. I'm about to crawl in when I stop. See, I was a smart kid. I knew that this place would be a haven for spiders. So I decided to use my trusty method of grabbing a stick and running it around the inside of the doghouse to like pick up any of the spider webs. And while I was doing this, I noticed that there were no spider webs. This should have put up a red flag in my mind right away. No spiders. That's weird. That's weird. Why would there be no spiders in this place that is perfect for spiders? I should have known that something was up, something was amiss, but I didn't. I didn't know because I was 8 years old. So feeling safe now that I knew there were no spiders in there, I crawled right in. Time was a-wasted and I could not waste any more time. And so I got in there. And I like turn around so that I'm like sitting on my butt. I can like barely sit up. My head is like touching the roof. And I look up and I see right above the entrance to the dog kennel a wasp nest. A live freaking wasp nest with 3 wasps buzzing around. I panicked. I screamed, I cried. My 8-year-old self did not comprehend the fact that the wasps would leave me alone if I left them alone. And by screaming, I had expressed what could be interpreted as aggression. I could not get out of there without exposing my butt or my face to those hell demons. And I was not about to do either one of those things. So I thought screaming was a good option. Okay. There were better things. So I'm screaming, watching this mass of insects, and I get the idea to just kill them so that they can't kill me. So I reach down and I grab my cheap blue Walmart flip-flop right off of my right foot, and I raise it in hopes of squishing the wasps in their home. Except right when I'm about to do it, I stop. I stop dead because I'm imagining the crunch of the wasp nest, and I'm like, no, and then like fall onto my feet, and it would just be horrible. So I'm just like sitting there with like one flip-flop off, screaming at this mass of wasps. And then one comes down from the nest. It comes towards me. It's waving around in front of me. My eyes are following it as I scream in terror. And then it gets real close to my foot. And it stings my big toe! And then it flees! It flies out of the doghouse and away from this whole mess. And I'm just left there screaming in more fear than pain, I'll be honest. But still, it freaking stung me in the inside of my toe. So I'm still screaming and crying, and now there's a little bit of pain in there, so it's like slightly intensified. And then another one flies down. It flies down, and this one goes for my face. Right in my lip! I have resigned myself to this nightmare. I have decided, this is it. This is my life now. This is how I die. This is the end. Goodbye, world. And then I see a light. My dad, hearing my screams of terror and pain, came rushing to my rescue like a slightly delayed knight in shining armor. And he opens the top of the dog kennel. And I just leap out, running into the grass for my own safety, still clutching my blue flip-flop in my hand. And as I'm running, the pain really starts to set in. I feel this throbbing in my lip, and I can't walk anymore. My toe hurts so bad. I cried. I cried for what must have been like, I don't know, 15 minutes? My mom sent me inside with some ice packs, sat me down in front of some Scooby-Doo on our portable DVD player, and I just lay there, vowing never to go outside again. And I didn't, for like almost the entire summer. I was terrified. And then I got a call from a friend. It was the tail end of the summer, and the city pool was about to close, and she called me up like, hey, you want to go to the city pool one last time? And I think, okay, cool. I like hanging out with this friend. I like going to the pool. What could go wrong? You can tell something's gonna go wrong, right? So we had a great time, splashing around in the water, floating on the lazy river, doing dives off of the short diving board because we were still too scared to do the big one. And then the lifeguards blew the whistle for everyone to get out of the water. See, city pools have these 10-minute intervals every couple of hours where everyone needs to get out of the pool. I'm not 100% sure, but I think the purpose of this is to see if anyone is unconscious in the water drowning. Slightly morbid. So my friend and I, along with everyone else, had to get out and just wait for 10 minutes until the pool could open back up. We decided that we wanted to be the first ones in. So we stood by the pool as close as we could get without getting into trouble, and just waited. As we were waiting, I was watching our shadows on the pavement, and I see this shadow of like a floating small being floating towards me. And then it goes into my shadow. My first thought is there a wasp on my head? There better not be a wasp on my head. Addie, is there a wasp on my head? Except I didn't want to seem insane, so I just asked her, is there anything on my head? And she looks at me and she goes, no. And so we wait, another couple minutes go by, and I start to feel something on my head. I look back at her and I say, are you sure there's nothing on my head? And I like tilt my head down a little bit so that maybe she can see better. And even though my head is tilted down, I can see her eyes go. And then she just says, I'm gonna go get a lifeguard. And she just left me with this mysterious creature on my head. I was scared. I didn't know what to do. So I just like waited there and hoped, please, please, please come back soon. Please, please, please. She finally comes back after what seems like eons, but was probably more like 2 seconds, with a young female lifeguard in tow. And I still have my head down, kind of like this, and I'm just seeing them out of the corner of my eye, and I'm like, oh, thank God. And the lifeguard gets there, and she sees what's on my head, and she instructs me to follow her very slowly. And she's just like, I'm walking, and she's like walking backwards, never breaking contact with this thing that is on my head. So I'm walking so painfully slowly in hopes that I won't get stung while I follow her to the front office. And even with the slow, awkward shuffling that I was doing, I was getting a pretty decent ways. And then I feel something on my head again. A sharp pain. And then I feel this decrease of pressure on my head as the culprit flies away. I don't have to worry about being slow now, so I follow her to the front office as quickly as I can, probably crying by now. She tells me that I need to follow her so that she can clean up the blood. I thought, blood? She tells me that I had not been stung by a wasp, but bitten by a giant horsefly. So now I know that my enemies aren't just wasps. Every bug is after me. Except for roly-polies. The first time I had dared to step foot outside again after the wasp incident, I got bitten on the head by a horsefly. Why does nature hate me? That's how the story of my fear of insects began. Wasps, followed by horsefly. What's your worst fear? Have you ever had a horrible encounter with insects? Tell me in the comments down below. Like this video if you liked it, and subscribe to see more. Cool cat. Original joke. Comedic genius here at Lucky Crow.